Trades galore, trades galore, trades galore. What's up, everybody? This is your boy, AB Jr., back with another episode of Flawless Fantasy Football, and we're back for the Week 9 waivers. Ready for the Week 9 waivers, and I don't want any excuses because I'm not going to give you guys any. It's time to get ready for the home stretch, second half of the season. You don't have to be in first place. It don't matter if you're bottom of the bracket. It's time to make it happen right now. First, let's talk about these trades that dropped down today. I'm going to be honest with you. I was at work today, and I got sick and tired of the sleeper app. Zzz, 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 all freaking day long about all these miscellaneous trades. You guys know how I feel about it. I feel like these rich 80-year-old billionaires, that's their way of playing fantasy football. We play it down on our level, they play it on their level. And they they got in a bunch of trades, not just with us, majority of the time we're going to work on it offensively. They worked a lot on defense as well, with defensive players. But it was all good. It was nice to see the excitement, although I was busy as hell, and I'm not looking, I'd be like, that's trash, you know what I'm saying? That's all right, like that. But I would say the main trade was the TJ Hockenson trade, okay? Now, everybody's all geeked up about that, and for good, I'll be honest with you, it's probably legitimate, okay? It's for good reason. He actually got traded in division from Detroit to Minnesota, which is odd because usually teams don't like to trade in division. So, but kudos to kudos to Detroit. They just didn't want him anymore, okay? So, I commend them for that. But Minnesota needed him. Minnesota paid up handsomely for him. They gave up draft picks, and again, they only have one loss on the season, so they're trying to make it happen this year. They know the position they're in. They're not trying to take steps back. Now, Hockenson is going to need time, but Hockenson, he's a legit player. I'm not going to knock him. And coming to a team where he's going to be the surefire tight end. I had different thoughts about it earlier because I believed that Irv freaking Gotti Smith, Irv made me want to pull my freaking hair out and just be freaking bald. Irv Gotti's trash. He's on the IR. He won't be a part. Now since they got Hockenson, he's going to get cut. I doubt he can play another snap for them. So, to the ones that see this, and if you got Hockenson, screw it. Hold on to him. All right? So, the Vikings will be throwing. They will have an offensive. Hockenson can block too. So, keep him in there. I don't know what you're going to expect from him week 1. He's probably not going to have that many reps even if he does play. But I can't see you really get rid of him after, I really think about it and reevaluate things. Next one was, it's really not that big to me, but it said Nyheim Hines to Buffalo. Now, some people be worried about, oh my gosh, he's going to be good in Buffalo. He's not going to do jack in Buffalo, okay? Singletary's still the man. They got the rookie behind him, and he's just a piece. He won't be used. He'll be used probably less than he was used in Indianapolis. Now this actually frees up Deion Jackson because he's proved to where he can catch and he can rush. So he's a clear backup to Jonathan Taylor. It should be rostered in all leagues, especially by Jonathan Taylor owners, like me in one league. So don't really sweat that. So Hines to Buffalo. They got rid of Zach Moss, so they needed another piece, Claypool to the Bears. Let's talk about this. Claypool, this is going to sound all right coming off my mouth, but Claypool might actually be the one there one day. Because it seems like they're doing things to really speed up the maturation process of the QB in Chicago. And that's good news for him. Bad news for this outdated Claypool shirt that I had last year. I might have donned this one time. You see this, guys? I might have donned it one time. Because out of my 3 players that I had as my guys for last year, it was Tom Brady, Chase Claypool was my wide receiver. Mind you, I didn't pick an early wide receiver. Now, my purpose last year was to pick a deep, later wide receiver. And who was my running back? Oh, Jonathan Taylor, which he was the number 1 running back last year. And I had those shirts before the freaking season. The time stamps actually state that. So, Tom Brady was number 3 quarterback. Jonathan Taylor was number 1 running back. And Claypool was a swing and a miss. Strike. So that was that. But this probably is going to end up being like a few different hand towels, cleaning the bathroom or wiping the walls down or something. Yeah, because I won't be putting on this shirt anymore. I don't put on outdated shirts. So R.I.P. Claypool. But with Chicago, I can see, because let's think about it. The wide receiver 1 for Chicago now is not a true wide receiver 1. He's more so of a deep threat, Mooney is. So if he could just stick to his role as deep threat, and Claypool is very good at crossing slant patterns, possession type stuff in the middle, and I'll be honest with you, it can really happen. And I'm interested to see what can happen in the near future and long term for that team, for Chicago. Good job for Chicago. Giving your quarterback the weapons it needs. The type of weapons it needs, not just anything. Let's talk about Calvin Ridley to the Jaguars. When you talk about some punishment, you know when I pulled out that belt on y'all last week and I snapped the belt, go psh, psh. I was going to beat y'all about, discipline you good for crying about losses. Man, they sent him to Jacksonville. Now, they already got some pieces over there in Jacksonville, but some pieces are kind of old, like Marvin Jones and stuff like that won't be there. So I could see that actually working with Ridley operating on one side, and the old boy that comes from the Cardinals, he'll be on the other side. So I can see that happening for next year. Obviously, because Calvin Ridley's not playing like that. So we'll see what happens with that. What else we had here? I pretty much think that's it far as how I feel that was really a necessity far as. Oh, you had Jeff Wilson to Miami. One of my boys, Greg, he was like, "Oh yeah, some scrub from Team San Francisco came to my Miami." I'm like, Jeff legit. He's like, nobody named Jeff's legit. And I said, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And he said, LOL, but don't sleep on Jeff. Jeff could be a little something. Jeff that power back in there now. Don't be sleeping. Jeff end up being a league winner. I mean, I ain't trying to get him. He probably was rostered anyway. But maybe people dropped him once they got McCaffrey, so check him. You never know. If you got time to hold him. I really wouldn't be into that, though, because, people need to be winning right now. Now, let's get to the waivers. Again, if you're getting the substance out of this video, press like, subscribe to the channel, holler at your boy. Might not have time to make a thumbnail because I'm currently not at home, and I'm around a bunch of movers. They've been in the background. They're working. So I don't have my original stand, my tripod and everything. So, making do. I got a little contraption set up, but, making it work for you guys. Because I'm not going to leave you hanging, even though I'm not even at home. A whole different city. So let's get into it. Let's talk about quarterbacks. I'm going to give you 3 quarterbacks. I don't have my board, like I said, because I'm not at the crib. But let's just talk about it. Give you 3 quarterbacks real quick. I'm going to give you for a week. It's coming up on week 9, right? We're going to talk about Justin Fields first. We'll give you 3 quarterbacks. Justin Fields, his last 3 games have been 23 points, 28 points, and 30 points. And he has a nice schedule coming up. Plays against Miami, Detroit, and Atlanta. That's a sweet matchup for the next 3 weeks. And the way that team's been playing and the way he's been moving around and the confidence been going up with Justin Fields, it seems like you can really start reaping on his talent. He has a wonderful floor because he rushes like crazy. And he's putting up QB1 numbers. Aaron Rodgers, number 2. Aaron Rodgers has not had a blow-up game yet, but they play against Detroit. Dumping it down to the running back and actually probably having Lazard back and the wide receiver core there. Dobbs is fine. Dobbs caught a nice touch. Y'all saw that turnaround catch that Dobbs did like that and came around and like that. Like, oh, well, I could have caught that like a tight end in high school. Oh, why? Y'all know I played a little bit of tight end in high school. It wasn't long, man. It was a lot of favoritism in high school. They didn't want to give me a shot and stuff, but I was busy working, making some decades. I ain't had time for all that, but I played a little bit. Yeah, so Aaron Rodgers could be a nice streamer against Detroit. Come on, man. It's time for Aaron Rodgers to put up a nice 30-point game. Let's reap a little bit. I'll let you know how to feel about Lazard later on in the week. See how you practice or whatnot. Okay, I don't know, but he might miss the second game. But I'm not going to speculate anything. Aaron Rodgers, number 2. Number 3 is Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke has 2 games up on his belt. First game, he scored 18.5 points, and last week he scored 28. Play against Minnesota this week. I do believe Minnesota's supposed to win, but I do Washington's going to have to keep up, okay? So Heineke is just a gunslinger. So if you need over 24, 25 points and you're missing, because 6 teams are on bye this week, I believe it's 6, you can pick Taylor Heineke up if you don't have better options. And it's a solid play, man. He's not gonna give you 14 or 15. I just don't see it happening. So Taylor Heineke is a great option for a quarterback week 9. Week 9. So the quarterbacks, Justin Fields, Aaron Rodgers, and Taylor Heineke. Now, if you have somebody out there on your waivers, like a QB for Detroit, golf or anything that might be a better option, go ahead and plug them in, because golf is a good option playing against Green Bay. All right. So, and that's all they're going to do is throw as well. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's start with running backs. Deontay Foreman. Foreman should not be on the waivers, okay? He should be picked up. Dude had freaking a monster game. 3 touchdowns, over 30 fantasy points. He was a monster, should be claimed, and started in a flex if you bout that life, okay? 34 points in half-point PPR. He was legit. Number 2 is Kenyon Drake. Now, look, we've been through this Kenyon Drake thing, right? He blew up. Hell, I had him in 2 leagues, put him in the flex, gave a effing 0. I cut the beat. And then what he did, came back with a 14.5 or 15 and half-point PPR. I'm just saying, Gus Bus, we don't know what's going on with him. Okay? They might sit Gus Bus. They play on a Monday, and you know how the Mondays go. They might sit him and then wait till the bye week, after the bye week, to get more time to heal up because of the little leg injury, hamstring injury that he had. So Kenyon Drake may have all the juice to himself. Now, mind you, they do play against New Orleans. New Orleans got a good defense. Just blanked out Raiders, but who the hell are the Raiders? So, but Kenyon Drake is an option. Number 2 running back. Number 3, I have 4, okay, is Khalil Herbert. Now, he might be rostered already, but in some leagues he might not be because he's not the starter. But this dude against Dallas had 16 carries for 99 yards. He's essentially the 1B there, all right? Getting goal lines. He don't come off. If it's his turn, it's his turn. You know what I'm saying? Montgomery ain't been like, hey, get off here, come off the field. It don't work that way. So Khalil Herbert is a great flex and also something to have if Montgomery lay it down. Khalil Herbert can be somebody that pushed through all the way through and can be one of those league winners. So if he's out there, you grab him because Montgomery's not the best bill of health either, even though he's been fairly decent so far as far as his health-wise. Isaiah Pacheco, he's on waivers because he had that. It went on bye this past week. He had that one game where he's going to start, right? But he had, against the 49ers, he had like 8 carries for 43 yards. Now, you think that ain't bad. He starts at 5 yards a carry, okay? Just over 5 yards a carry, 5 and 5, not even 5.1, but whatever, 5.1. And then they had the bye week, and they played Tennessee, Jacksonville the next couple games. Who's the other team? I don't know, I wrote too sloppy. But the thing is, sometimes people dropped him because he was on a bye and he had a bad bye week. I knew 2 leagues I'm looking at, he's actually available. Is it worth picking him up? I'd say yes. We saw how Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he was able to do his thing, and he was able to capitalize on being the starter for the first part of the season. So it can easily be his turn to do what he have to do. All right. So Isaiah Pacheco is someone that you can look at. So you have Foreman, Drake, Herbert, and Isaiah Pacheco. Now, if you have other better options out there, shoot them to me. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what's popping. Now, it's a time where, you got to work on these bye weeks. These cuffs, these handcuffs. So for Buffalo, you might want to make sure you grab Cook. You might want to make sure you have Deion Jackson. And if you are an owner of the star running backs in Jacksonville, you might want to have Hasty. All right? Because Hasty can run through between tackles, and he's a game breaker. As you're seeing for the one long run he had 2 or 3 weeks ago. That is your running backs. So remember, quarterbacks, Justin Fields, Aaron Rodgers, Tyler Heineke, running backs, Deontay Foreman, Kenyon Drake, Khalil Herbert, Isaiah Pacheco. Honorable mentions are Cook, Deion Jackson, and Jamaica Hasty. All right? Now, let's slide through these wide receivers. I'm going to spit through them real quick. I got to stick to my time. Rondale Moore. He had 8 targets, 7 for 88, and a touchdown, and a couple rushes. If he's out there, you need to get him because he's really taking over the number 2 role, and he should be a solid start moving forward. Devin Duvernay. Bateman's, he's hurt. Duvernay he don't have a lot of targets because Baltimore don't throw a lot like that. You know what I'm saying, especially to the wide receivers. He had 4 targets. He cut off 4 for 31 yards. He had and a touchdown. And I think he had a rushing touchdown. 2 for 33 and a touchdown. So he had 14 points, half-point PPR points. Rondale Moore had 20. So he's starting to put up those points. But he might be rostered, but check. All depends what your league's going through. Palmer. Josh Palmer. He's the number 1 now because Mike Williams will be out. Look, Keenan Allen, I called this. Remember, Keenan Allen was one of my first wide receiver ones I was saying, don't freaking touch. And he's been a complete freaking bust. That was obvious to see. You know what I'm saying? My 5th unborn daughter could have seen that. And I have 3 boys and don't even have a daughter. So I'm just trying to tell you that just how super obvious that was. All right? So, Josh Palmer, wonderful pickup. Keep an eye out for Jahan Dotson. He's coming back from his injury. He's questionable, but he should be playing. He's going to probably pick back up that number 1 role or number 1A, 1B role. He's very touchdown. He can get a lot of touchdowns. KJ Osborne, got to see how long Adam Thielen left the game. So if he left the game, that should be more. Check the practice reports and be able to see how long, if he actually is going to practice or not. He probably won't be too hot of a pickup unless Thielen starts missing practices. But he's something to keep an eye on. If he's opposite Jefferson with a new tight end coming in, he's going to get a lot more juice. All right, so those are the 5 wide receivers: Rondale Moore, Devin Duvernay, Josh Palmer, Jahan Dotson, and KJ Osborne. All right, tight ends: Isaiah Likely. There's a good chance that they sit Mark Andrews this week because they have a bye next week and they play on Monday. So I know in a league where I'm going to pick up Andrews just because I'm not going to let the person above me. I believe that person has Andrews, a person that's above me in the standings. And maybe if I scoop him up, hey, he might want to shake something, and be able to, pass off a little something for a little trade ski. Since they don't say, they said Blake don't like the trade. No, they call me Blake. That's my last name. So Blake don't like the trade. No, I don't mind trading, but the trade have to make sense. A lot of times the trades don't make sense to me. But, hey, sometimes I'm picking them up for me. Really, I'm not picking them up to trade because I think he's an asset. You saw how he got used. So he had 6 catches for 86 yards and a touchdown. He had like 16.7 half-point fantasy points. Gerald Everett, again, because of necessity. And they had a bye week, so he might have got dropped. Greg Dulcich, I know they're on a bye week, but he's been freaking the top 12 tight end since he's been in. He's had 11, 8, and 10.7 points in half-point PPR. And Mike Gesicki had 3 for 75 in a touch. They're getting, man, they're just throwing the ball around over there in Miami, and they're enjoying life a little bit. So those are the tight ends: Isaiah Likely, Gerald Everett, Dulcich, and Mike Gesicki. Those are 4 tight ends. Let's talk about some kickers real quick. Jason Myers, I got him in one of my leagues. He's number one. I just wanted a piece of that Seattle offense, and he's been kicking his ass off. So Jason Myers, Nick Folk, and I wouldn't think I'd be saying this because I'm about to tell somebody to get rid of Nick Folk. I don't know if they did. I got to check. He's got 21 points against the Jets, and they're home against this week against versus Indy this week. So he should have more opportunities to kick. And Harrison Buckner came off the bye to play against Tennessee and Jacksonville. Harrison Buckner is a good kicker. He missed a lot of games because he had some injury, but he's back. High-power offense. He should be fine. Defenses, so the kickers are Jason Myers, Nick Folk, and Harrison Buckner. Check your waivers. If you find anybody else that's on a decently high offensive team that can kind of move the ball but get stalled out, that's the kind of players, that's the kind of teams you want. Kickers you want. And defenses. 3 defenses I have. I have Kansas City defense at home Sunday night against Tennessee. I believe they'll get out on Tennessee. I don't know who's going to start for the Tennessee as far as the quarterbacks, but I just believe Kansas City going to put up a lot of points. Probably put up a defensive touchdown. Kansas City. Also, you have Vikings versus Washington. At Washington, Vikings should be ahead in that game and force Heineke to be throwing the ball, possibly get a pick six, possibly. And you have Ravens and Saints. You can play either one of those teams. Saints just blanked out the Raiders. Ravens are the Ravens. It's hard to go against New Orleans, especially at home. All right? Because those ain'ts be balling as of late. All right? Not going to discredit them for holding down the Raiders. Like, comment, subscribe. Flawless Fantasy Football. I'll see you on the next video. Stay positive, stay fearless, flawless.